I think that a lot of that will help. There are some things, there are some strategies as far as eating. You should be able to eat complex carbs without it raising your blood sugar. However, how you eat those carbs makes a difference. When I say complex carbs, it's not your and gluten-free, and you can still stay gluten-free. There's even with oats, there are a lot of things that you can do that are simple that I can share with you recipes. As well as the fruit, your apple. Do you peel it? How do you eat your apple?
Usually I don't peel it.
Okay. All right. And an apple, and when we eat, regardless of what we eat, it is going to raise our blood sugar. But there again, there are some strategies that we can work with that will help. What you want to do is normalize your blood sugar. All of us, whenever we eat, our blood sugar is going to spike. But getting fiber, making sure you have plenty of fiber, there are things that you can do that will limit and can help restrict how much it spikes and make sure it goes right back down. It doesn't stay at that spike level. Does that make sense? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Jill is going to be demonstrating. Welcome, everyone. Val is here. Good. Everybody, please give Val she's from Seattle. Jill's in California. And so, everybody say hi to Val if you can. If you don't want to
Hi,
come off the
hi.
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 Yep. And you can put something in the chat, but welcome. And this is a taste of manna. And I do lecture, but I've done so much lecture. I thought, okay, I'm gonna give the guys a break, and we're gonna do some food demonstrations because we want to do both. And we're gonna talk a little bit about the 8 laws of health. And so hopefully you're able to stay during the entire session. Tonight we have a special demonstration by Jill. Jill is going to be showing us how to make raw fettuccine Alfredo. Are you ready to get started, Jill, or did you want me to go over something else? Are you ready? You're on mute, Jill. Your mic is still muted. Yeah, there you go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you wanting me to start off then?
Huh?
Do you want me to go ahead and start?
Are you ready to start?
I think so.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because I'm going to do a demonstration, and mine is already. Yours will probably take longer. And
All right.
I'm going to share let me just go up and share with with everyone. Jill is going to be making raw fettuccine Alfredo. Let me share some of the ingredients. Okay, here it is. Share. Okay, so included in that, she's going to be using 2 medium zucchinis, 1 cup of zucchini, a cup of sunflower seeds that have been soaked. You can soak them, or you can also sprout them. Of course, when you sprout your seeds, and I think the reason for seeds are a lot less expensive than nuts. I know I love mine with cashews, and you can do a blend, but we try to do something. The sunflower seeds a lot more less. I mean, they're a lot less expensive than the cashews. And a half a cup, so she's using 1 cup of sunflower seeds that have been soaked, and/or again, you can sprout them. Sprouting also activate the enzymes in the sunflower seeds and just give more life in that. And you're getting optimal nutrition from them when they're soaked. It's almost like the soaking revives them, bring them back to life, and they start. They're living. 1 small lemon or a large lemon, a half a cup of filtered water, 2 garlic cloves.
Oh, yes, I do have the garlic.
2 garlic cloves.
2 garlic cloves.
All right. 1 drop of oregano essential oil or 1 teaspoon of oregano seasoning.
Yes, I've got the oregano right here and
right.
the basil. And I also have some fresh basil I'm going to mix in it as well.
Oh yes, I love the fresh. Yeah. So she's
Ah.
using good. So she's using some fresh basil. And again, 1 drop of basil essential oil or 1 teaspoon of the basil seasoning. All right, Jill, you want to take it away? Let me stop
Okay.
sharing and I'm going to turn it over to you.
I peeled one of these zucchinis just to show you sometimes you may want to peel it if you're serving it to people that are not used to green. But I'm going to show you how it looks with the green peeled and without the peeling without the green. So you could do it either way, and we're going to have a variety today. We're going to start off with the noodles, and I'm going to show you how I use this spiralizer. Now this is a little different than the one Jackie has. She's got a small one that works. It does the same thing, but this is a larger one. There's all kinds of different spiralizers out there. But this is the one I use mostly. So you just kind of fit it in there, and then you have a knob here that you turn, showing you how to do it, and you have to press it in pretty tight so it doesn't come out. Use this. You just twist it around. Let's see if you can see. Yeah, you can see. I think, can you see it okay?
I can. Yes.
Okay. So just keep going round and round and round until you get these noodles. It's kind of fun to do this one. I always like making these zucchini noodles.
Yeah. For your fettuccine, you probably do want to peel them to get rid of the greenish color in the fettuccine.
Well, it doesn't look too bad if you're used to it and you want to eat it that way. And then you do get more nutrients with the skin.
Yeah.
But yes, this just to make it look more like real fettuccine. That's the idea of peeling it. But and then we have the little stems here that will be left from the middle. And I'll show you what we're going to do with those as soon as I get this all the way. I guess I could speed it up a little bit.
Now, what do you do with your peeling from your zucchini?
I'm going to put that in the blender and use that for the sauce.
Okay.
Along with the sunflower seeds.
Okay.
There's so many things you can do with them, though, because if you don't want to do it, if you're going to use all seeds or nuts, like Jackie said about making it with cashews, you can do that too. I chose the sunflower seeds because not everybody can have cashews either, or nuts, certain nuts. Yeah. So just to make this be very friendly for just about anybody who can eat it. Yeah. And even people that call themselves keto, they may not eat cashews, but they would eat
sunflower seeds.
Sunflower seeds, yes.
Sunflower seeds are very popular, very nutritious.
Yes, they are. Full of all kinds of good, healthy protein. And I don't know, for some reason this isn't. All right, so I'm going to take this off. This is what you get in the middle. And I'm going to take it and put it in here.
And you just add it to your sauce, right?
Just add it to the sauce.
Yeah. That's the thing. You can make sauce and hide vegetables in it because the sauce is actually going to cover if you're someone that don't like vegetables. I do this a lot with zucchini. When I make a vegan cheese sauce, I add zucchini, I add red bell pepper, and my family never know.
That's true. Yeah. You don't even have to tell them.
Yeah, don't have to tell them. They love it. I just said, this is your sauce. And there's just so many things, even for the kiddos. They love to have a sauce to dip things in, their chips or whatever. And so, I make my vegan cheese sauce, and I put my red bell pepper, I put 2 zucchinis sometimes, and usually in that I'll add only a half a cup or a cup of cashews, and then I have another type of seed. But you're getting the benefit, the nutrition of these raw. And when you're eating raw as much as you can, you're getting optimal nutrition that you can glean from the vegetables. You know, anytime you add hot water, steaming is the preferred method. if you are going to heat your veggies, lightly steamed is preferred. There are some vegetables not too bad when you're boiling them, but of course, boiling and fried is just, and I guess you can saute them because you're not cooking them long. But fried vegetables, you're not really getting hardly any nutrient benefit from that after you fried it.
Yeah, it's all been cooked out. Okay, so you can see as I'm doing this one, the green is on there, and it kind of looks kind of neat. It's a little bit green, a little bit. So if you're not opposed to green, I'd just soon leave the skin on because it's healthier for you.
Yeah.
But if you're dealing with kids or anything like that, you probably want to make it as white as possible.
Yeah, take it out.
For the kids, or people who are not, they're not green eaters. And then once they get used to it, then they can eventually eat the green. Yeah.
A few noodles there,
This one
Jill.
takes a little bit of muscles.
I know. I had one of those and it was just, I'm getting a different one that's more, I think it's like a stainless steel type. It was a little bit more money because that one broke for me. I was doing so many cooking shows.
Your little one broke?
Yeah, it did.
Oh, I think I had a little one like that somewhere, but I don't
Oh, no,
know.
not my little one, but the one I had like yours.
Oh, like this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it broke. I do a lot of,
There you go again.
Yep. Throw it in there. All right.
Okay.
Now you don't heat these. I like to leave mine at room temperature. Yeah, and I don't spiral them until it's time to eat.
Yeah, that way you don't have it. So this is how it looks, mixed up together.
Yeah.
But remember, it won't have any green on it if you peel that off ahead of time, if you want that peeled off. Just depends on your preference. So we're done with that. This is what we used. I can bring that up closer for you to see how you turn the knob and put the zucchini in here and everything comes out the end. So it's pretty easy to use. Now we're going to make the sauce now that we've got our pasta done, our very simple pasta. And I've got a little bit of the zucchini in here. And I'm going to add the sunflower seeds that I soaked and sprouted. I only sprouted them about a day, but they sprout so fast and easy. You can see that. And it ends up being more than 1 cup because you sprout it. So I'm going to put a lot of these seeds in here. And you'll get all the nutrients this way too. I mean, it's going to increase the nutrient level way, way high, like 20 times as much as you without sprouting. But if you don't have time for the sprouting, you can do it the other way too. Just rinse your seeds, soak them a little bit, rinse them, and you can use them too. And cashews especially soak really easily.
The sprouting is also good if you have digestion issues, if you have absorption issues, because of the activation of the enzymes in it. The sprouting, I think some other things and I think we did talk about that. Beans, the recommendation is to always get the bagged product so that you can sprout them because the sprouting of it or the soaking them in water is going to decrease the, how much water?
About a half a cup. I think it's in the recipe, the half a cup of water.
I had a half a cup.
And I usually use filtered water too, because you might as well make it as healthy as you can. And I'll take this lemon. This is a half of a pretty large lemon. So I'm just going to squeeze it in here. And not worry about the seeds. The seeds can be blended up as well. In fact, if you think about it, the seeds is where you get your protein when you're using the fruit. Some people are afraid of the seeds, but lots of lemon will give it that nice cheesy taste without having to use any other. Now, sometimes red peppers do too. They're good to use for that. And then I have 2 that I've already peeled, some nice size garlic.
cloves of garlic.
And then we have our sea salt. I'm actually using Himalayan salt, and it's not in the right container, but it's okay. I like a variety of salts, but especially Himalayan, 1 teaspoon.
Now, if you're limiting salt, you most certainly can. Yeah, if you have to limit your salt, you can. These recipes they're alternates as well. If there's some things that you can't consume, there are alternatives that you can replace in the recipe.
That's right. Yes. There's a lot of things you can use. You can use more lemon if you don't want to use salt too. Sometimes that gives you the same flavor or similar. And there's other kinds of things you can use in place of salt. But the mineral salt is better for you than regular salt because you get all the minerals. Okay, I'm going to start this now, and it's going to be kind of loud. So maybe I'm going to mute it.
Okay.
I can find the mute button up here. Oh, there it is.
See, it's creaming up, and it's going to turn into a beautiful sauce. And when you're cooking it like this, of course you can cook more, but I like to just use a recipe that will serve whoever, just to make a recipe that's equivalent to the party in whom I'm serving. And that way that each time I have to make it, because it doesn't really take a long time to make it. You can make this it takes just a few minutes to whip it together and then serve it. This meal is nutritious, easy, doesn't take as much time once you get the hang of cooking it. One of the things that I really had a problem with initially is getting my foods, getting those flavors. And what I found is that sauce, when I came up with the right sauce, that made the difference for me. And then once I got the right sauce, the mixing of the various vegetables together. And I do a lot of bowls now. And then I would probably, on my bowl, I would have zucchini. I would probably have, I always have salad. I have to have some form of field green or something. Go on, Jill.
Okay, I'm going to put a drop, only a drop, because these are really potent. And you can always use oregano spice too, but I'm just using the oregano essential oil. Essential oil, just 1 drop. The key is not dropping more than 1.
That's the basil or the oregano?
And that's the oregano, and this is the basil. They have the same, there we go. And if you don't have any of the fresh basil, which the store that I buy this at, they only have 1 little tiny thing of fresh basil. And that I'm going to put into it. I'm going to just work it into it afterwards rather than blending it. Because if I blend this up in the blender, then you're going to have green sauce.
Yeah.
Well, unless you're okay with green sauce, then that's okay too. I'm going to blend this a little bit more.
Another thing is fettuccine Alfredo over broccoli. You could steam your broccoli lightly and you could actually add your zucchini noodles. If you want a regular noodle, you may, I think they're making a lot of brands of gluten-free noodles now. This would also be good over your gluten-free noodle. So if you don't want to do the zucchini, or the other option, blend them together. That's what some people start doing. I know that when a cauliflower rice came out, a lot of people started blending their regular rice with the cauliflower rice. Now I don't eat the regular rice. I eat either whole grain. I love black rice. I love the red rice. And there are times I will blend together my black and red rice with my quinoa. And that is also something I will put on my bowl. And this would serve, I would have maybe some broccoli, always have a salad, and this would serve as a sauce. And that's just me. That's how I would eat it. Because sauces to me really makes a difference.
Okay, so this is the sauce. I'm going to let you see how it looks in the blender. Nice and smooth. I added just a little more water because I thought it was a little bit stiff or a little bit too much. But that's up to you. If you like really thick sauce, you can leave it like it was, or you can thin it down a little with just a little water. A little less than a fourth of a cup, I think I added to that.
Now, do you use nutritional yeast, Jill, at all anymore?
I don't use it much, but you can add nutritional yeast for a little more cheesy flavor. But I find just adding more lemon or red pepper or something like that, you can get a lot of the cheesy flavor too. I don't know. I guess I'm looking. I don't know if I'm showing you correctly here. So I'm going to get a plate and I'm going to pour a little on the noodles and you can kind of see how it would look.
Very simple, very easy. I think it's low cost. That's the other thing, to really come up with recipes that don't cost a fortune for people. You know, something that is good, that's edible. And it's, you know, it's.
I'm going to put the noodles in here. And here's the noodles in a bowl. And I'll put a little bit of this pasta on it. The reason I'm doing it this way is because since I don't have anybody here to eat this with me right now, it's a little better for me to just not put it all on the pasta at once, kind of like what Jackie said at the beginning. So you can see I got a little sauce on there. And then I'll take some of these basil, just kind of spread that around, make it pretty, and make it taste good.
Yeah.
And then you can see it. And another thing too, with fettuccine, you can add vegetables to this. Just chop up some different vegetables and make it like a bowl like Jackie was talking about.
Yeah.
This looks really simple, but that's just so you can come up with other ideas yourself too. And you can use other things. You can modify it any way you want with seeds, nuts, the zucchini with or without. You can even make thicker noodles too. Let's see if I have that peeler. Well, I had the peeler here, but anyway, you know how you have a potato peeler and you can just make really thick noodles like that if you want by peeling with the potato peeler. So that is it for this. If anybody has any questions? It's very nutritious. It's raw. It has everything that you need in it. It's, you know, the sunflower seeds, of course, are a good source of protein and fiber and calcium. And then you have your zucchini, and that's really good for you too. It's very low calorie and it's raw.
The only thing, I would just want to just reiterate to everyone that, you know, if you're on medication, if you're dealing with something like low blood pressure, you do want to discuss with your doctor before making any dietary changes, because especially a meal like this, if you have low blood pressure, you know, it could very well make it lower if you suffer from lower blood pressure. If you're on medication for blood pressure, you know, this could also, I don't want to say adversely react with your medication, but you know, because it is a more because it's probably going to be more conducive, you know, to lowering your blood pressure. The thing is, you want to, before making any changes. Now, the oils, specifically the oils, you definitely want to make get the okay from your doctor, because the oils are very potent, very strong, and they act almost immediately. And so if you're on any medication, you don't want to make any dietary changes without consulting your physician. I have someone that I have someone that used the oils with their doctor, you know, and that's why I love to keep the doctors informed, because as you're making lifestyle changes, a lot of your conditions are going to start going away. And so as your doctor wants to monitor you to make certain that he's weaning you off of the medication. And I think Angela talked about, she was off of 5 medications. Well, that's the importance of when you start making lifestyle changes. As you start consistently make these changes, then your doctor will be able to decrease your medication to the point that they're not needed. And that is the ultimate goal. You know, so help you to get into a consistent habit of a healthier lifestyle, and then working with your doctor as he begin to wean you off of the medication. That's how you want to do it. Any questions from anybody on?
You can sprinkle some sunflower seeds on the top too, if you like, or nuts or something to make it a
Yeah.
little more crunchy.
Yeah.
It's crunchy though. It's crunchier than the regular noodles would be.
Are you eating it? You gonna show them how to
Oh,
eat it? Did you
yeah.
swirl it? Yum
I
yum. I know.
love it. I wish you guys could all share it with me. I really do. That's
I
the part
also
about the demonstration is doing it on Zoom is you just don't get to share it with everybody,
right. Yeah.
which is what I liked doing when I did them in person.
Yeah. That's the benefit of doing them in person. When I did it for the church, so many people that probably wouldn't have even considered until they tasted the food, it made a big difference. So, if you do experiment with it, start little, don't make a lot, start little and work your way up. And again, we could all be from various cultures and backgrounds. So our taste buds may be more inclined to various seasonings. So experiment with
Mhm.
your own, seasonings that are more culturally palatable for you, if you would say. Just make sure that those seasonings are in the closest form to their natural form as possible. You want, that's the thing. When you start getting processed, then you're defeating the purpose. But you want to make sure your seasonings are in as close to being natural as they possibly can be. I know I think I have basil growing. Is it basil or oregano? I have one of them, and then I have um, lemongrass growing. So I can't wait for it to come out. It really, I mean, it did a lot last year. I want to plant a lemon tree in a little bowl. So there are a couple of things. Mint is easy to grow as well. So there are a lot of things that uh, that I would encourage you to start
Mhm.
experimenting with. And you don't have to do it all at once. Do it a little bit. Like I was saying, if your let's say your zucchini noodles, what I've encouraged some people to do is blend them in with, if you're going to get a noodle, make sure that it is a
Mhm.
gluten-free and it has fiber. Look at that. Yeah, that living basil.
Yeah, let me show you this. This is how I got the basil. I just ran over and got this before we started here. And it comes in a little package. And look at that. I can plant it and I can regrow it.
Yes.
So I'm going to be able to use it.
So what you going to
So,
plant it in? Do you have a little planter for it, Jill?
yeah, I do. I do have a little planter.
Yeah.
I'll have to do that. And that way,
Yeah.
this will be a lot cheaper than you think. You know, it was $3 and something, but if you can regrow more basil,
Absolutely. I love pesto, basil pesto. Oh, it's wonderful. And a good
mhm.
vegan basil pesto. And I was going to
Oh
say,
yeah,
if you're not ready to do all zucchini noodles, some of the options you can do is if you find a noodle, you want to make a gluten-free, you want to look at it to make sure it has sufficient fiber and sufficient protein. You can blend them together. Cook your noodle and just get a little, don't get all of it. Let's say that your serving of noodles says 1 cup. Do a half a cup
mhm.
of that noodle and then the other half with your zucchini noodle. And that way you're introducing things um, at a slower rate and you're as you add them with your other type noodles, you're still going to get some benefit.
You can buy some of these too. They have them at Aldi, and
Yes.
these noodles here just have brown rice and quinoa, and that's it.
Yep.
That's all that's in this.
How much
So,
protein's in it, Jill, in a
how
serving?
much protein?
Uh-huh.
It says 4 grams of protein per
What's the
serving.
serving size?
Serving size is 2/3 of a cup.
That's awesome. 12 grams of
Mhm.
protein. So you would
And it's
get your
organic.
protein. Yeah. And that's a zucchini. Yeah. So there are ways to do it. You don't have to do it all at once. And, start, mixing, blending together. Like I'm gonna be honest, cauliflower rice was not my favorite when I first started, but I had to figure out how I liked it. And I figured out I don't cook it. I don't want to
Mhm.
steam it lightly even because I want it to retain its crunch. And I just make sure that I wash it very well, and then I will add it to my other rice. And my favorite rices are going to be the wild rice. I love wild rice, the black rice, and the red rice. Or I eat and sometimes there's brown rice with that, but the black rice and the red rice are really my favorites. And then sometimes I'll mix quinoa in with that high protein. Protein is significant because we need protein protein is the building blocks for our bone, our muscles and our bones. So we want to make sure we're getting sufficient protein and in good, healthy sources. Any questions? Anything anybody want to make a comment about? Seems like we're doing a lot of talking, and last week we had a lot more interaction, engagement. Anything from anybody? No?
No questions, huh? Maybe because you cut
Not
you
for
did a
me.
lot of zucchini.
Not for you. Okay. All right. Let me turn my light on. I'm going to do how many of you who likes, and I guess you can do a raise of hands, you can put it in the chat. How many of you like, how many have tried pomegranate? The pomegranates. Anyone? Jill? Okay.
Love pomegranate. I used to have a pomegranate tree at the last place we lived.
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh, that was awesome in California. Anyone on who's had pomegranate? Who likes pomegranate? Denise, Ramona.
I've had it. I don't know if I like it. I mean, I've had the juice, but I've had it,
You've had
but
juice?
it
Okay.
seems like it's challenging to, to make because of the seed with the gel at the end of it. It seems like it's hard to scoop the flesh.
Having the right tools I learned that having the right tools was so helpful. When I first started, I struggled so much. I didn't have any help. And now there's so much help available for people. I threw away a lot of food because it didn't taste good. But as I didn't give up though, because I knew that, and let me tell you my story. I had never had a weight problem all my life. And all of a sudden, I think it was pre-menopause and post, and of course, menopause. I started putting the weight on, the hot flashes. And one of the things I knew just from research, I was not going to do hormone therapy, because of cancer and just other things. I was determined I was not going to be like my parents, right? I was bound and determined. I don't want to be on blood pressure medicine. I don't want to be on medication like that. And I started doing my own research. I thought there has to be a natural way to combat, to combat or even to manage all of the symptoms from menopause. And everything that I read led me to a plant-based diet, a plant-based diet, a plant-based diet. And a lot of reasons is because we know that our foods, like our meats, they are loaded with hormones, and that's just going to make it worse for us. Hormones and all other kinds of things. And so that was the incentive for me, the bigger incentive. I have never really been, but I have never been one that there was some like my husband or some people. Now I shouldn't say necessarily my husband. Some people without meat, you didn't have a meal. I wasn't that. I've always been a vegetable lover, and so I wasn't into meat like that. I think the meat that I really, if I had to, fish. I loved fish. I love fish. I really love fish, and that was the last thing that I gave up was the fish. Cheese was not a problem for me the way it is for some people. I've had clients that really, really struggle with cheese to the point that we had to do a detox. I think it's and that is done with an anti-inflammatory diet for at least 30 days in order to overcome cheese and a lot of these foods. I don't take it lightly, and I don't take your struggles lightly when it comes to changing, because a lot of our processed foods have agents and chemicals in it that is addicting. If you ever notice, when you eat something salty, you automatically want something sweet. Then when you eat something sweet, it's taking you back to something salty. It purposely have chemicals in it that are habit forming. High fructose corn syrup. A lot of our foods, breads, and everything was made with high fructose corn syrup. And high fructose corn syrup is nothing but chemicals, man-made chemicals that destroy brain cells, the cells in the body. And so initiatives were done. And now I think a lot of the food manufacturers, not all, are eliminating the high fructose corn syrup, but be mindful of what they're substituting it with also. I would say try to get back to the place where you're making your own foods. Even if you like bread, I make my own gluten-free bread, and the more you do it, and I'm gonna be honest, when I first looked at it, I thought, I have a full-time career, and during some of the course of that, I just don't have time. But what I found, the more I did it, the easier it got. It looked complicated and hard because it wasn't something I was accustomed to. But I learned, now I can whip this stuff up in no time, right? I can do this in no time. And having the right tools also were essential. But I want to talk a little bit about pomegranate. Do you know? And we talked about pomegranate is also a staple food that dates back as far as even before the promised land. That was one of biblical times. It was a staple food. Pomegranate, it's considered a superfood. It has been cherished in the region of Israel as one of the most exquisite fruits. One of the most exquisite fruits. In fact, pomegranate was incorporated into the edges of the priest's garments. You can see that in Exodus 28:33 through 35. And it has meaning. The fruit has meaning to it. And you have to understand that meaning to understand why it was incorporated into the edges of the priest's garment. The health advantages of pomegranates are actually remarkable. They assist in maintaining youthful skin, offering protection against sun damage, reducing inflammation in the heart, addressing eye-related issues, preventing plaque buildup on the teeth, and mostly lowering the risk of cancer, especially breast cancer. Each time one of the Israelites enjoyed a pomegranate, they were benefiting from outstanding nutrition. This remains true for us today. However, the advantages don't end there. Go to my next page. Interesting. That was the olives. Let me find my other note page. I got all my notes together. You do have to be careful again. I want to emphasize, if you're on medication, if you have illnesses, you do not want to make any dietary changes, regardless of how many of these foods are considered superfoods. You must work with your doctor, because making these changes can have adverse reactions with your medication or some of the diseases. There are some people who should not consume pomegranate seeds, and some of them, and a lot of the things we have here. If you're breastfeeding, if you're pregnant, so we have to be cautious. And you can Google, you can do things like who shouldn't, what are the risks and benefits of pomegranate seeds and some of the others. But I can't impress or stress, emphasize enough that before you make any changes and you're under a healthcare provider, you want to work with your healthcare provider. I have worked with many others in my own home church, and I've had successful rates. It has been really, I can't say that all doctors are going to be on page with you, but with natural alternatives. But most of our healthcare providers, I find that if you're interested in changing your lifestyle, and they're willing to work with you. I think the most part, what they find is a lot of the patients that they work with, they are not willing to make the lifestyle changes that they need to make in order to bring some of their conditions under control and to manage it safely. And that is the concern. And you have to take responsibility. I just want to encourage you, always take responsibility for your own health. If your doctor is prescribing things to you, stop and let him know, I really am looking for a healthier alternative, a more natural alternative. It is becoming more and more because of integrative medicine, because of complementary alternative medicines, which is what I'm in, holistic medicine. They're becoming more open, to working with you. And most doctors, and I know we feel that because of the pharmaceutical, that they're in for it for the big, for the money. And I just want to me, if I felt like my doctor was in for it for the money, I'm going to switch doctors. That's just me. I mean, I interview my doctors like I go for an interview for a job. What do you believe in? And what, because I feel like I need my physician to be in alignment with me, with my lifestyle choices. Meet me halfway. I'm willing to reduce or to prevent blood pressure, high blood pressure, to reverse diabetes. I'm willing. But one thing I'm not willing to do is for you to give me a medicine every time I walk through that door that's going to cause other problems, other complications, and maybe fix and maybe help manage what my current diagnosis is, but then I end up with another diagnosis because of the medication. Take your life. This is your life. This is your life. Make healthy choices, and you don't have to do everything your physician do, in everything your physician wants you to do, but be wise in it. Be willing to make the lifestyle changes in order to manage your health. Any questions? All right. So I want to take, so why am I talking about pomegranates? I know, and I think Denise said, Denise, you indicated that you tried pomegranates and just it was just difficult to get the fruit out of its shell, right?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Has anyone else tried pomegranate? Okay. Oh, I know Jill has. What about papaya? Who likes papaya?
Excuse me.
Yes.
Are you asking who has ever eaten the pomegranate seeds?
Yes.
I do that regularly.
Do you like them?
I love them.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. How long have you been eating them, Paula?
Years.
Years. Oh, awesome. It's good. Great. Now, how do you extract the fruit from the shell?
You cut the shell. My mom taught me a technique to get it out easily without getting rid of most of the juice from it. I could do that, or I buy it already taken out.
Yeah,
In New
that's
York,
enough.
you could get it in several places where they remove.
The seeds for you.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Good.
it's a bit more pricey, but
Yeah.
you could get it that way.
All right. Yeah. Well, maybe one of our sessions you can show us your technique that your mom taught. What about papaya? Who likes papaya?
I do that as well.
You do papaya. Awesome. Who likes it? Has anyone else tried? Sheila? Ramona? TMA? Val? What about you, Val? Okay, Val has tried but papaya. Okay. Do you like it, Val? Do you like papaya?
I love papaya. Like back in Brazil, we ate papaya all the time.
Okay.
But here I can't find it. And when I find it, it's never good.
It doesn't taste the way it did in Brazil. We find that a lot with people that have come from other countries over to America. Where do you shop for your papaya?
The only grocery store I have near me is Whole Foods, so I
Whole Foods
don't
again.
really have a choice. But
What about
I've
farmer
tried.
markets?
Hmm?
I would think Seattle would have a lot of farmer markets, no?
There's nothing near me, and I
Okay.
don't have a car,
All right.
and everything is so expensive.
Okay.
But I haven't found anything that tastes like really good. It's when it goes from green
Mm-hmm.
to overripe, and then it tastes like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried it, but
Not
it
there.
wasn't
Okay.
good. It
All
wasn't
right.
worth the price.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and show you. I'm going to do a demonstration now. This may make a difference. Let me share a little bit about this demonstration. I'm going to demonstrate two options for you when it comes to papaya. I had let me go down and open up my Rejuvenate. It is, but I'm just going to show you the recipe for it. And it is mint, citrus mint dressing. I'm going to show you a recipe using the papaya, and we're going to make I'm going to make a citrus mint dressing. Let me share my Zoom. And I can share this manual with some. I actually purchased it some time ago. Here it is. And the recipe, it is raw. It's a papaya boat. And the ingredients, of course, is going to be my papaya, half of a sliced banana, an eighth cup of pomegranate, and then the citrus dressing. Let me go to my citrus dressing. Then it's citrus dressing. Where's my mint? Right here. Okay, for my dressing, it called for 5 to 10 pitted dates, medjool, and whatever date you like would be fine. You know, you may enjoy some other date. 5 to 10 mint leaves. It does call for a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, and you can omit that if you like. It called for 2 oranges juiced. I don't like my oranges juiced. I used 1 whole orange. I want the whole orange because I want the benefit. And that's just me. You can do the orange juice if you like. And then a half of a lemon juiced. I did a whole lemon juice because I wasn't using as much juice because I didn't juice my orange. I used the entire orange for my dressing. You can use this dressing for a variety of things. I also use the medjool pitted dates. I also use the mint leaves. I did 10. I love mint leaves. So I'm going to just step over to my counter. I'm going to put this one and I'm going to show you my papaya boats. Let me go here and put it on stop sharing. All right, I'm going to step over to my kitchen. See me? Can everyone see me and hear me okay? Can't hear me. All right, can everyone see me and hear me okay?
Can't see you.
I just hear you.
Okay, let me take off all right, how about now?
Now I do. I
Okay.
see you.
All right, awesome. All right, let me get my papaya. I have my mint already here. Can you see that? Can everyone see my mint? You can't see it?
Down. Okay.
Can you see it? Do I need to hold it
I
higher?
can see it now. I can see it.
I need to go into presentation mode. Let's see. Go back to my share. Let me stop. I don't see, I want to do share sound, layout options. I'm going to try presentation mode here. Okay, I think this is virtual background. I don't want that. I don't want that. Okay, I think I'm going to, okay. That's the mode that I'm going to share. And sorry about that. I'm going to have to share it one more time. Okay, so I think I have that. I think everything is good. Okay. All right, can you see better now? There's my mint. Okay, great. show you my papaya. I'm going to give you two options. I don't know. I made cashew butter. Option number one is cashew butter. Here is my papaya. Does everybody see my papaya? I've scooped out the seeds. Now the seeds you can keep. You can add them to smoothies. Not too much. You know, they're very nutritious, but they are edible. You can add, you know, a spoonful to your smoothies. I don't like them outside of the smoothies. I have to have them inside of the smoothies. They're not like the pomegranate where you can eat them, enjoy them. But here's my first boat. This is my my papaya. Scraped out my seeds. You can actually, if you want, spoon out some of the flesh if you want. And for this one, I wanted to leave it in a little bit. Now this one, I'm going to garnish I'm going to garnish this one with cashew cream. How I made the cashew cream is right here. Can you see that cashew cream? I actually made it yesterday and I put it in the refrigerator. My cashew cream is made with 2 cups of cashews, and they were sprouted. A whole lemon. I do like lemon. I love lemon. Cashews, lemon. I did about a teaspoon of vanilla extract without the alcohol in it. And what else did I put in it? The lemon. I think that was about it. I used maple syrup, you know, so some of you may do raw honey, but I use maple syrup. If you want to keep it vegan, you would use maple syrup. And I use maybe a third to a half a cup of maple syrup. And then it's going to be to your taste. Now, the cashew cream can be made sweet, or it can also be made savory, depending upon your taste buds and how you want to, prepare it. It's delicious, savory as well. And I like to put it over, and I use a lot of my Mediterranean type herbs, but you could do a variation. But for this one, I also like to put this one on. I make waffles from oatmeal. Oatmeal, I think it's 1.5 cup of oatmeal, 2 to 3 bananas, and a 1/3 cup of applesauce. Grind it up in my Vitamix and put it on my waffle iron. That's the only way I eat waffles. So waffle is delicious. I cover that waffle, put a little cashew cream on it, and then I can sprinkle it with some nuts or fruits. Berries. My favorite food in the morning are berries. So here's my cashew cream. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to spoon some of the cashew cream into the boat. This is another way. This would make a delicious breakfast. This could make an awesome lunch. And I sprinkle enough just to get into the center. You see that? Can everybody see the cashew cream? Cashew cream is very tasty, very, very tasty. The next thing I'm going to do after the cashew cream, I am going to spoon pomegranate. Beautiful, luscious. I am really, really into beautifying my foods because I feel that meals, when they're beautiful, they're much more appetizing. I think that we should go out of our way. I think that presentation is so important. Look at those colors. Look at the reds. Look at the white. Look at the melon, the other that should start stimulating your taste buds already. You can put nuts on that, whatever you desire. But for me, I'm going to leave it right with the cashew cream, my pomegranates. Now, I'm going to beautify it a little bit more. I'm going to put some mint leaves on it. I love mint. Mint is grow your own mint. Ta-da! Can everybody see it? Awesome. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? You know, when you're preparing your foods, being vegan, it doesn't have to be boring. I just want to encourage you, go out of your way to beautify your food. Make eating time a special time. It should be a special time. And your foods, the presentation or the appearance should be appetizing so that it stimulates the palate, your taste buds. So this is one way. You can also add nuts to that. This will be wonderful for breakfast. You can have it for lunch, but all the nutrition in this, and I have the whole thing written up, may have to go over that with you next time, but just the nutrition alone from something this beautiful, I love it. Papaya boat. Scoop the papaya, get a little of your cashew cream on it. Now I have already made my dressing with the cashews, and this is what it looks like. Actually, I'm going to pour it into a little bowl. I think I'm going to beat it a little bit more. I'm going to pour it into my little stirrer. I'm going to spin it just a little bit more, the Vitamix, so you can and again, I use the whole orange because I prefer whole oranges. I don't like juicing oranges, but if you like, the recipe do call for, you see that? Can everybody see that dressing?
You lift it up a little more. There you go.
Oh, can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that
Now
beautiful?
I can see it.
Can you see it, Jill?
Yes.
Look at that
Yes,
beautiful color.
it looks really good. I could eat that.
You see that? Can you see the inside, the texture of it?
You can't, now you got to come over this way more and up.
Now?
Up more. Now you can see it, yeah.
Okay.
But if you want them to see inside, you got to tip it. You might get,
Let me just show you what it looks like on the spoon. I'm going to have to get a different recorder. You see that?
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks yummy.
It is. And it's made with dates. I put the dates, the orange, lemon juice, medjool date. Oh, I said medjool dates, and mint. And I tell you, it is just delicious. I mean, you can put this on anything. We're going to make, now for my next boat, what I have done is this one, I kind of diced up the papaya. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. I diced up the papaya because, again, food does not have to, I want my food to be beautiful. I want it to look good. I want it, because I don't want it to just taste good. I want it to look good. And for this one, I'm just going to blend in again, add some of my pomegranates. As you add those pomegranates in there, and this is something, even if you've never eaten it, I like my food. I like the presentation of the appearance so that even if you've not eaten it, when a person sees this, the first thing they're going to want, at least take a bite. Oh no, I've never had it, but I want to try it. It looks so good. I tell you, presentation is everything when it comes to food. Always your salads, you know, don't just throw it together. Again, eating. Another thing I'm going to put in, I'm going to add is a half of a banana. So banana slices.
So could you have also added blueberries to that?
Oh yes, yes. That's the beauty about this. Use put in there what you want to put in there. Yes, you could. The secret is in the sauce. The secret is in the dressing. Cut up a few bananas, and my banana is pretty ripe. You know, the riper the banana, the less sugar it contains. The riper it gets, the more sugar it contains. For those of us that don't have to worry about sugar, you don't have to worry about it. It's okay. But for those of us that have to be cautious of sugar, eating that banana. So I'm gonna put a half a banana in there. Oh, now I'm gonna put the leaves, the mints. Oh, I just like the banana. Let me put the little mint here. It's beautiful. Oh, then we'll put this banana right here. You know, I like to make my food that if I like my eating experience like I'm eating in a restaurant. And exquisite.
Better.
Yes.
It's better than a restaurant.
It is. It is better.
Or this raw food like this, they don't have.
Yes. Being vegan does not have to be boring. Okay. I have my banana. Can you see that? I have my banana. I have my pomegranates, and I have my mint leaves.
Right.
Now, what can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Up
great.
a little more. There you go. That looks beautiful.
Yeah. Now the next, now it's time to drizzle my sauce. You can put as much as you want. I don't have any oil in it. I don't have any salt in it. I do have medjool dates in it. That's full of fiber, all types
Energy.
of nutrients.
Yeah, dates are full of energy.
And you know,
I love dates. I eat
I'm
them
just
every
gonna
day.
put some right here on the edges. Go around on the edges and drop. Mm, 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 mm. Oh my goodness gracious. You know what?
That's so funny.
This is just wonderful. Let me try it. I'm gonna try it and see how it tastes.
Mm.
Mm, 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 mm,
Is
mm,
this
mm.
a breakfast thing, or you could eat any time of day?
You can eat this any time of day. The one
Okay.
thing that I try not to do is I eat most of my calories before my last meal is going to be the lightest meal. I would eat this during the day, though, to give me energy, my nutrients, because that's when I'm active, my fiber that I need. Mm. It's just, if you just see the nutrition profile for papaya, for pomegranates, this is just wonderful.
Yeah, the enzymes you get in it too.
Mm-hmm. Papaya for your digestive system. The mitochondria. And remember, we talked about eat the rainbow. But we have all these various foods that's good for us to diversify. Like we diversify our portfolio, we want to diversify our diet. All right, I hope that, and actually, this with the cashew cream is wonderful too. I'm going to leave this for my husband. He loves cashew cream, and I have a little bit more. And that was just one papaya. Don't have to eat the entire thing. I could cut it in half. But the most important thing is that make sure that your meals are beautiful. They're enjoyable, not just, and they're not boring. That when you look at them again, when I see this, are my taste buds watering for it? You know, I think that's the secret. Let me step back over to our main computer. I hope you enjoyed that presentation of the foods. I just want to talk a little bit more about, let's see what time it is. Okay, got time. I may try pre-recording these the next time so that have my husband pre-recorded and I could just play the video. It's actually better when I pre-record my videos and all right. It's actually better when I pre-record my videos. And I may do this one and have my husband record it and then I'll upload it to the YouTube. Are there any questions? What do you think about the papaya boats? Anyone else? Something you try? Oh, Seventh-day Church, I can't hear you. You're muted.
That's Rita.
Rita. Oh, Rita, you're still on mute. Is she on mute, Jill?
Yeah, she is on mute.
Yeah, you're on mute, Rita.
She trying to talk?
Or she can key it in the chat if she don't know how. Yeah, just hit the little button. You see your microphone? We still can't hear you.
Hit the microphone. It's a little, it has a slash through it. It says mute.
I'm listening, but I'm in training. Okay, Ramona. All right.
Okay.
All right. So I want to talk a little bit more. I just want to remind a couple of things before I don't know that I want to go into my nutritional profile. Do you have anything else to add to your presentation, Jill?
Oh, I was going to tell you when I showed you the pasta, you can get this at Aldi. So that's, it's only like $2 for a box and it's organic and you have enough to make several servings. So that's one thing I remember I didn't mention.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let me tell you a little bit about the papaya. Raw papaya offers numerous health benefits, including it contains papain, which is an enzyme that aids in protein digestion and it improves the gut health. Its high fiber content promote regular bowel movements and prevents constipation. Papaya is rich in vitamins A, C, and E, which nourish and protect the skin. The papain acts as a natural exfoliant, removing dead skin cells and revealing a brighter complexion. For weight management, papaya is low in calories and very high in fiber, making it filling and satisfying. It can help regulate appetite and promote weight loss. The antioxidant properties, papaya contains antioxidants such as vitamin C, which protect the body from free radical damage. This may reduce the risk of chronic diseases such as heart disease and cancer. The heart health, papaya's high fiber content and potassium content help regulate blood pressure and cholesterol levels. Its antioxidant properties also contribute to your overall health. Provides liver health. Papain helps flush out toxins from the liver. The vitamins and antioxidants in the papaya support liver functions. Some of the other benefits, raw papaya is a good source of vitamin C, which is essential for bone health. It may help reduce inflammation and improve joint health. Papaya contains lycopene, which may protect against eye disease. It is important. It's important to consume raw papaya in moderation, as it can cause digestive discomforts in some individuals. Additionally, people with latex allergies should avoid papaya. Those are some of the benefits. And I think, if you don't have any of those worries, enjoy it. I don't eat papaya every day, but I want to eat a variety of foods. So every day my diet can change a little bit what I want, but at least once a week, and that probably papaya, I would eat it in two settings, maybe half of it one day and half of another day. And for me, I don't have any guidelines or restrictions about what I eat for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. I tried, so my guidelines is that I don't want to do any snacking. I do want just my meals and eat at mealtime without snacking. And I want my lightest meal to be my evening meal. And I want to try to consume that before 6 p.m. or by 6 p.m. And that may vary for you. Whatever you find work for you, that's what you want to do. I find that this works best for me, especially, and sometimes I go over 6 o'clock, but 6, 7, I think I've gone as late as 8. But if I'm eating something, it's going to be something similar to that. Nothing that's going to be, to my papaya boat, nothing that's going to be overly taxing on my digestive system. One of the things you want to remember is that it takes 5 hours for your food to digest. That's why you don't want any snacking. When you eat, go on, Paula.
So I thought there was a restriction regarding how late you can eat fruits.
Again, I do
Shouldn't
what works for me.
I could have sworn, I'm sure I read something where fruits should be consumed by 12 p.m. in the daytime.
Fruit?
Then again, that could be wrong information.
No, let me put it this way. This is the thing that we have to take in consideration is the person. What works for you may not work for me or someone else. It depends, how active are you? There are a lot of people. How active are you? And how late you're going to consume your food.
No, I'm talking about fruits in general. For example, I hear that you're not supposed to eat fruits after a certain time, and that it should be eaten on empty stomach. You hear all these different things, so you don't really know what's true, what is. Because if Personally, I would eat fruits 24/7 throughout the day and nothing else. You know what I mean? But I'm told you should have it only in the morning, and by 12 o'clock midday it should be cut off. And something else regarding the health benefits of having it on empty stomach. So I don't know.
Oh, yeah. This is the thing I want to emphasize. Even if you're eating healthy, you want to live minimal 5 hours before food, because this is what's happening. It takes 5 hours at least, and then that 5 hours can be contingent upon if you're having any digestive issues. So I think the 5 hours is best case scenario. If you have digestive issues, I had digestive issues, and I can't eat any and everything. Otherwise I just have so many problems with my stomach. If you're dealing with any type, IBS, Crohn's disease, any of those things, my fruit I do like. I'm gonna say this: I do enjoy my fruit during the day. Um, and even though for breakfast, my first meal typically is not until 1 o'clock, and it can be 2 o'clock. That's my breakfast. And if I have another meal, it's going to be something very light. But this is the guideline. Between meals, you should allow 5 hours at least. You want your foods to totally digest. Otherwise, you continue to eat. It's almost like you're continuing to drive your car and you're not putting oil in it. It's continuously running. It's continuously. Our bodies are not supposed to continuously run. We have to stop eating. That's why the best rule of thumb: don't eat snacks. Everything that you're going to eat at a meal, if you can. Everybody can't do that, because I know that there are diabetics, and maybe people with other things. But the best thing you want to try to do is, because the only way that you can eat on an empty stomach is to stop eating. Otherwise, your stomach is not going to ever be empty, and your body will be in continuous digestive mode. If I in the evening, I think I have eaten, I don't, and this is just Jackie. I don't like fruit in the evening. If I'm gonna, what about you, Jill?
I only eat fruit in the morning typically. Today I had it morning and afternoon because that's just what I ate today. But because of the fruit digests different than other foods, it takes longer to, or actually digests quicker um, than most foods do. So if you eat it and you're going to eat it again, that's okay. I mean, I've not heard that where you can't eat fruit past noon. I've not heard that before. But I usually keep mine in the morning because I do have an empty stomach for sure in the morning time. But as long as your stomach is empty, when you eat fruit, then it won't get trapped behind other foods that take longer to digest.
That is the key. Your stomach being empty, because the other thing that is fermentation starts setting up. If you have undigested foods, that's the thing. And a lot of people think that they have digestive issues, when sometimes the problem is that you're not allowing your digestive system to stop working, and you're just piling food on top of food on top of food, and things are not being flushed out. So those are the things that I mean, now when I talk about fruits, think about this. Did you know that are let me ask this question: are tomatoes a fruit or vegetable?
Fruit.
Fruit.
Fruit. Do you eat them in salads?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're eating a fruit. An
Mhm.
avocado, is it a fruit or a vegetable?
Fruit. Yeah. Yeah, avocados are that kind of like that middle ground fruit. Same with tomatoes.
There are a lot of fruits that we're eating, and we don't realize that they really are fruits. They're not considered a part of the vegetable family, because even our red peppers are not vegetables, they're fruits.
And zucchini. The zucchini that I made today,
Yeah.
that was actually a fruit meal.
Yeah.
A fruit
So
and
when we
seed, actually.
so that's why when you talk about fruit, you know, you have to really be specific, because these things I would eat. Avocado I love. I'll always, put it, but I want to eat avocado during the day. And the other thing that you want to pay attention to your body. That is the key. Pay attention to your body, and do not eat between meals. Let your stomach really get empty before you eat. And some of the things that's going to help it. That's why That's why your heaviest meal should be during the day, because you're probably more active at that time. If you're going to eat after your last meal, if you're eating 3 meals, most people are just eating 2 meals. You want that last meal to be very light, very light.
Oh, okay then. So I guess when we're told that snacking helps to maintain your blood sugar so it doesn't drop too low, snacking is encouraged by a lot of nutritionists and dietitians.
Nutritionist, I'm a holistic nutritionist. and that's okay. And Dr. Paula, you're gonna find that between naturopathic doctors, one is going to tell you one thing and one is going to tell you another thing. If you even go to Spirit of Prophecy, and we can look at that question, because she says a lot about eating fruit. She says a lot about eating. She even indicates that we shouldn't really be eating. But now hold on, let me back. I did say if you're diabetic, if you are an unmanaged diabetic, then some diabetics do have to eat, because to keep their blood sugar, they do have to eat maybe a handful of almonds or something like that. They may not be able to do the 5, to do without snacking, to go without snacking. But I know diabetics that do go without snacking, but they make sure that they're eating the right foods. And when I say the right foods, those foods that are full of nutrition and that are full of fiber. Fiber is the key for a diabetic. The key to keeping you full longer, your fiber and your protein are diabetics' friends. So that's the one thing a diabetic want to make sure they're getting enough of fiber in their food. That's why it's important that they eat the whole food. Now, the diabetic papaya is low in sugar, so that can decrease sugar snacks. Another thing they encourage diabetics to do, or anyone, after you eat, let's say that you're eating lunch, can you take like a 20-minute break and walk? Walk up some stairs, just go around, walk. That's the other thing. After you eat lunch, and in your note, like I say, my lunch can be 1, 2, or 3, depending upon my day. That could be my first meal. I said lunch. That could just be my first meal because of my day. And then after you eat, can you want to do some exercises? That's also help manage your sugar, that it doesn't spike. But yes, eating, having something to snack on, you always want to keep, if you're a diabetic, because you do not want your blood sugar to drop either. And I do not want to give, I'm not trying to give nutritionists or anyone else how I want to say this. And I'm going to say, one of our hospitals here, I was one of the keynote speakers on nutrition with a nutritionist that worked at Shawnee Mission Medical Center, which is an Adventist hospital. And she specifically was talking about diabetes. And the things that she says, and some of the things that I would not have given that to anybody that wasn't even a diabetic, most less a diabetic. I mean, and so I just, I am a little different in some of the things that I teach. I believe in whole food. And no, I don't believe if you can, eliminate dairy, if you can, I think these are the best things. If you can eliminate meat products, these are the best things to help with disease. But eating a whole food, plant-based diet and minimal oils and no process, minimal process. That's the other thing, minimal process foods. And there may be other people that will give you, like I said, and sometimes even almonds are considered a fruit. There are certain things that are considered fruits that we really have never looked at as fruits before. Even a cashew is not really, it can sometimes, be a fruit. So when we're talking about fruits, we're not necessarily talking about apple and oranges, things like that. And, I tell you, there's a lot of information out there. If you go to one person, they're going to tell you one thing. If you go to another person, they're going to tell you another thing. When I work that's why I have to work one-on-one with a person. I have to know about their history. I have to understand if they're on medication. And I have to understand a lot about that person, what their illness is, because all of that make a difference in what I do and don't do. I I hate to say this, I do want to see more. I think more nutritionists are beginning to see the benefit of having a, I want to say, nutrient dense, fiber dense diet. These are the things, the standard American diet are the things that have destroyed America's health. We have the worst health on the planet, I believe. And even studies will show that people from other countries will come over, and as soon as they adapt to the American, would not and had not had the history of the diseases that we have, and as soon as they adapt to the American standard diet, voila, all of these diseases that hadn't been known throughout their history, they start getting them. And again, if do whatever if you feel safe with your nutritionist or whoever is leading you and guiding you, follow them. If that's who you, and that's what I would suggest everyone you do. Follow whoever you feel comfortable with, because I do a lot of research and I am very scientific. I do a lot of research, and even from the research, I know specifically a lot of the research results. I scrutinize research. There's so many gaps in them. Like I just did if I do a research study on children in Finnish, I can't compare the same results to that to children here. And Paula, I think we talked about one thing. We talked about I think, oh, what was it? The vitamin D that we can get from the sunshine. And I think you indicated where other countries it's different, whereas in the United States or here, that Black Americans they're not getting that much benefit from the vitamin D. It doesn't absorb as much. And that is, and again, those have come from studies, but studies can be different. I think that you indicated that those countries that are close to the planet, and I did look at the research evidence from that. It also showed that they were spending 3 to 5 hours outside in these countries. And there were some countries in Africa that were higher than others. So there are a lot of things you have to take in consideration. Jill may not be able to consume what Jackie consumes, or even in the way, depending upon her body, depending upon her ecosystem, her mitochondria. All of those things are important when looking at our health, how healthy we are, how much exercise we're getting, our lifestyles. All of that is important. But one thing is pretty much consistent. If you can all avoid it, and I think even Ellen White's, I think, yes, and one of her, I have to find it. She talks a lot about eating, for people, and even she said 2 meals a day. If a person we could possibly do no snacking, the 2 meals a day, which would be sufficient. But like you said, Paula, there are some people that have, like if you get, you can't let your sugar drop below to a dangerous level. You have to, for some people. But the other thing that I found when that happens, that typically happens with someone that is not even managing their blood sugar. I find that more typical in that. Then they have to eat a candy bar to get it back up. They started getting the jitters. My husband's a diabetic. They start getting the jitters, and they all of that stuff, and then they have to eat something. Yep. But I know also that was also the result of an unmanaged condition. But yeah, that is true. What applies for one does not apply to all. What I would advise you to do is, before you make any dietary changes, is talk to your doctor. Talk to your doctor. And also I would encourage you to make those changes that are going to be beneficial and good for you. Does that make sense? Yeah. It's almost like we have our evangelists. One evangelist will say one thing and another will say something else. And in some instances, everything they say may be true under certain circumstances. I don't know. But you do find this among and again, my background is in complementary, alternative, natural health. It's not necessarily in your regular nutritional studies type. It is in nutrition from a holistic perspective, looking at the whole food, and that whole food being as natural as it possibly in its natural state. Most nutritionists are going to teach what they were taught. Most of them are going to teach what they're taught in school, and what I do is I work with people where they are. like the nutritionist was telling you. I mean, I don't even want to go there. I really felt bad because I felt this person was from one of our hospitals that represented, and when I say it was from a Seventh-day Adventist hospital, and she was actually had she was over a support group for for reversing diabetes, and she was giving them some of anything, those nutrition, those NutriBars and all that. I mean, just I couldn't believe it. I really could not. I couldn't believe it. And I tell you, you don't see a lot of that in our blue zones, and where a lot of the Adventists that live to be to higher, a longer age. I just don't believe that they're eating like that. I think they're sticking with more whole foods, and they're getting exercise. Let me just go because the time is winding up. Did I answer your question, Paula? I know I said a lot.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Let me just share one other thing. I just want to encourage, we talked about, let me go to my window, share my sound. I want to play. We're talking about the 8 laws of health, and I have to, it's not just nutrition. Sometimes we can have we're doing good with the nutrition. We may be bypassing the exercise, the water, the sunshine, the temperance. Pastor gave a very good sermon in temperance last Sabbath. But I want to talk about rest. And it's so important that we rest. Especially we're working busy jobs with busy lifestyles. When we come home, it's so important that we leave the cares of this world behind and we get into a state that we just start detoxing mentally and detoxing emotionally. This is another good music for insomnia and stress relief. It's important that we're reading our Bibles, especially those passages that are promise of hope and encourages us. So important that we let go of anxiety and stress as much as we possibly can. Our 8 laws of health: New Star, infinite nutrition, E for exercise, W for water, S is sunshine, T is temperance, A is air, R is rest. In order to get good night's rest, it's important that we get to bed at a certain time and that we have deep sleep and that we sleep during certain periods of that nighttime hours, because that's when our bodies really heal. That's when the nutrition, the exercise, the water, the sunshine, the temperance, and the air synergistically come together and heal our body of the toxins, specifically focusing on certain organs, elimination. That's why it's so important. That's why the 8 laws of health are so important. It's good that we get our minds in a state where we are not anxious, where we are not fearful, that we're relaxing and we're trusting in God. Music sometimes can get us there. And again, we're all different and we can come from cultural backgrounds and we may require different type of music or different types of things, but I would encourage you to do those things, that music that's inviting, that calms your soul, that helps eliminate the stressfulness of the day. Praying, this is another good part. There should be a nighttime routine. Are we incorporating all of this into our nighttime routine? I don't know what you do for meditation. I myself, I like to focus on the music. I like to focus on the scripture. And whatever method you use, making sure, some of us, we want to do deep breathing. Deep breathing is very good also. And I don't have a YouTube video to show you. I try to like to give you an example of things that I can find. I didn't for the deep breathing. Some of us is deep breathing, taking those deep breaths, holding them, releasing it. The deep breathing exercises we can even do throughout the day. So this is another, is falling asleep to revitalizing, to help eliminate or to manage insomnia, to get stress relief. That's one of the things I want to show you. The other thing I want to show is stretching. Stretching is so important, and I found a video here for older adults.
Hey there, April of Yes to Next here with my mom, Aiko. Hi. Today we're going to talk about stretching. Now, stretching is really important for your overall fitness and health. One, it can increase your flexibility, so just making it easier for you to do daily activities. Two, it can help increase circulation within your body, so getting more blood to your muscles, which can help reduce soreness and help with recovery time. And it can also help, improve your posture. So if you're more flexible, you're able to stand upright more easily. And lastly, it can just make you feel good. It can help reduce stress. The breathing is very calming and can just calm your mind. So I stretch every day. I stretch in the morning. I stretch before and after I work out, and also before I go to sleep. It really makes me feel good.
Yeah.
How about you, Mom? When you stretch, and how does it make
I
you feel?
start the day, usually to get started, I'll stretch in the morning. And after our workouts, I usually stretch, and it just makes you feel good. Get your body warmed up.
I just want to show a few things.
Inhale up. And exhale down. Very
These
nice.
one of
Very
my
slow
favorites. I do.
movements.
My
Inhale
arms
up
up.
and
When
exhale
my arms
down.
goes up, I'm
And
exhaling.
one
When
more.
they go down,
Inhale
I'm sorry, I'm
up.
inhaling up, exhaling when it goes down.
And exhale down. Very nice. Okay. We're basically going to go head to toe here. So we're going to start with our head with some head tilts going this way. Okay, so we're going to tilt it this way to our right here. Okay, and breathe. And come back to center. And tilt the other way. And breathe. Feel nice stretch in your neck. And come up. All right, and now we're going to look that way to our right. So look, feel nice stretch. Breathe. And center, and this way, look to our left, and center, right. And then we're gonna look up.
Blood circulation, fluidity in your body.
And center, and look
It
down.
relieves a lot of pain.
And center,
especially when
stretch
you
out
start
those
doing it
neck muscles.
consistently.
Very nice. All right, so we're gonna go into
Love
some
these
shoulder
shoulder
rolls.
rolls.
You know those, right?
These are some
Okay,
good
just gonna
de-stressors.
roll
You
it
know
back.
how those muscles
Okay,
in your
let's
shoulders.
roll it back for
yeah.
4. Here we go. 1,
Yeah,
in
they
real
get
slow
tight.
motion. 2,
Yeah,
open
you
up
wanna
that shoulder.
de-stress them.
And
Get that
breathe.
tired
3,
soreness out of those muscles.
and 4.
And
Let's
go
reverse it
forward.
forward. Here we go. 1. Good. And breathe. 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so next progression is we're just going to do some big arm circles, but we're going to alternate it. Okay. So we're going to start with this arm. We're just going to do a big circle
Love this one too. This
the
is
back.
another one of my
This one we're going to
favorites.
alternate it. Big circle to the back. Okay, let's do 4 on each side. So here we go. This is 4, and breathe. 4. Really open up that shoulder. Good. 3. Yes. And 3. Breathe. This is 2. Okay. And you just go.
All right, I'm going to stop. I just want to kind of give you a taste of that. And I can put these videos, these are, and I like the videos rather than because they're trained to guide you through your stretching to make sure you're doing them safe. And I'm just saying these are some good things that you can do after a day's work or when you feel tired, your shoulders are kind of, how they get stiff. Stretching is very, very good for our bodies, keeping the fluid, keeping our body flexible, keeping the fluid, keeping things moving within it. So these are some other things. As we're talking about the 8 laws of health, these are some of the things that we want to incorporate into our lifestyles and make time for. Nutrition, the exercise, water. The 8 laws of health work synergistically with each other. They work together. They complement each other. So getting that exercise, and you don't have to do strenuous exercise, going for walks, walking up the steps. You can do things like if you're shopping, make sure you park far away. And that again, if you can. And if you are in physical condition, if you have a condition, a health condition, make sure before you start anything new, be it diet or anything else, you want to talk with your healthcare provider and you want him to guide you through this. because making lifestyle changes, if you have like diabetes or any of these other diseases, can be dangerous without the support of your healthcare provider. You don't want to just do this on your own. Well, you want to make sure that your blood sugars are monitored. If it's time for you to come off or decrease your medication, your doctor will safely do that. But the important thing is you want to do things safely. And everything that we eat, even though it's healthy, it may not be for you and it may not be healthy for you. My sister, because she's had a transplant, there are things that she can't eat regardless of how healthy they are. That's why it's so important we know a person's history. And what's good for you is not necessarily good for someone else. And so nutrition should be personalized to meet your needs based upon the conditions that each one of you may be dealing with and based upon your medication or anything else that's going on with you. That's why it really needs, I myself, when I work with people, I give them a personalized plan. It's not that I can't incorporate that into other things, but I have to know everything about them because anything I do can trigger something if I'm not aware of it. Crohn's disease, IBS, there's so many autoimmune disease. There's so many things that can trigger it. So what we do, we want to be safe. We want to keep our doctor involved and we want to work with our doctors and we want to encourage our doctors to work with us. We want them to know what our lifestyle plans and goals are. And we're going to ask them, how can they accommodate, us in those situations? Can I take something natural instead of giving me this medication? Is there something naturally I can do instead of this medication? And a lot of times I've seen most doctors, if you change this and stop doing this, and I'm talking about just our conventional doctors. I see them do it all the time, but their patients don't necessarily follow them either. So, but anyway, God has given, it is health. Health to me is better than wealth because you can't replace health. You can replace wealth, and wealth really is not that important if you don't have any health. Health is important. Being in vigor and vitality is so important. And a lot of times we don't even realize how much our physical health attributes to our spiritual health, even sometimes our spiritual discernment. So the word of God says, I wish above all things that I will prosper and be in good health, even as thy soul prospers. And God He wants to fill our mouths with good things, our foods to be enjoyable, our health for us to be active, vigilant, bigger. It is not God's will that we are sick. It's not, but God can give us strength where we need it. And I want to encourage you, if you are on a lifestyle change plan, get you a good support group, a group that will encourage your lifestyle changes, that will even join you in those lifestyle changes. When you're working in a group, it's just better because you feel like you have someone that you can relate your downs with, you can relate your uptime with. If you're really experiencing a difficult time with some of your food addictions, it's just that you can run this by them. And sometimes that very thing will encourage you, let's go have a smoothie, something instead of, a piece of pie or, or something that, something that really is not going to be very good for you. So surround yourself with people and a support team that will encourage a healthy lifestyle as well. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've learned something. I hope it's been encouraging and inspirational to you. And I hope you try the zucchini fettuccine as well as those papaya boats and liven them up. Give it your flair. Make it yours. We've given you bases to start with, but make them yours. That's what I did with my things. As I don't ever take a recipe and just reduplicate it. I put Jackie's little twist to it. Are there any questions about anything? No? You all a quiet group tonight. Sheila, are you there? Denise?
I'm here. I'm listening. I'm like, where do I get that video? Where do I get the stretching stuff? I have all these questions. Like,
Okay,
I saw your
I will put
YouTube
all
channel.
of those
Can I
links.
get stuff on there? Does it show it? Do you have the links? What's going on, Sister Jackie?
I do. Did you want? If I put the link in the chat, will you grab them? Or do you want?
No,
Would you
because I
rather
won't
that I
grab them
send them
before
to
you're
you?
gone. But if you put them, can you put them on your YouTube channel? Because I'm following your YouTube channel now.
Yes. Okay. I will put them there. I will also
Thank
put the
you.
recipes there that we shared with the pictures and things. Yeah, I will put everything there on the YouTube channel. And
Awesome.
be encouraged, you know, and I want, you know, yeah, be encouraged. And again, um, I hope that you're enjoying the information that you're getting here. We do not diagnose, cure, or treat illness. Well, this is
That's your
learning,
disclaimer, Sister Jackie?
huh?
That's your disclaimer?
Well, this is a disclaimer that I have to make because of my certifications, you know, because yeah, and or because of my credentialing, you know, because I don't. How can I diagnose when I don't even have your blood, you know, your blood work or anything. Nobody can
Oh, you'll be
diagnose.
getting mine soon. Don't worry about that. My doctor's appointment's in 2 days.
Is it? Yeah. And usually that's when I get involved with the doctor's patients. It's when they have been diagnosed with something, and most of my clients come to me and say, well, you know, I have to lose 100 pounds in order to have a knee surgery, or a newly diagnosed diabetic that have to make lifestyle changes. And it's not my goal to be with them throughout their life. It is my goal to give them the tools and the resources they need in order to manage whatever it is they're managing, you know, until they don't need, you know, I sometimes I hope that in 30 and 90 days, I can help some people get on the right path to where they feel comfortable without me. They're managing their blood sugar. They're following, and sometimes it's going to be longer because there are some people that really have um, some heavy food addictions, and some of those addictions are not because of food. Some of those addictions, food is just I say a food addiction. I have even had situations where food was just a band-aid to deal with something else. And so it took me working with that person. You know, of course, they had to go, and I did have, you know, some resources that I would refer them to, and, you know, and encourage them to get, you know, help outside of that, outside of, you know, what they were seeing me for. And sometimes it requires more than one person working with you, more than one modality. I know what my skill set is. I know what I have my education for, and what I believe in as well. So I try to stay in my lane. You know, try to stay in my lane and work with people where they are. And, you know, food addictions can be overcome, but they typically will have to do, you know, go on fasting or some sort of anti-inflammatory diet, and at least a month. I have seen anti-inflammatory diet people that have gone on those in 30 days and can't, and come back and try to eat a bag of chips and can't, too salty. But an anti-inflammatory diet is very restricting, very restricted. But if you can do it for 30 days, you can overcome most addictions, food addictions, where for your body, other things where food is just a band-aid to deal with other things, you're not going to get over it, that, you know. So you have to get to that's all of us, we have to get to the root cause and attack whatever we're going through at the root cause, so that we can be made whole, heal, and be complete in God. All right. I hope you've enjoyed it. Did my other guests leave? I think I lost my guests. Let me see
Nope,
who's
I'm
all.
still here.
Are you still there? Okay. Yeah,
I
Sheila, my
am.
mom is still there. All right. Some of the folks I know we went over. I'm trying to get these to an hour. I start talking so much, but hopefully I get them to an hour. That is my goal, to get them to an hour. So I don't want to take up more at least I want to be done by 8 o'clock. That's my goal. No later than 8. I don't want to go no 2 hours. I don't want to continue to take you 2 hours out of your schedule. You all have a good, if you have anything, I will post all of these links on my on the YouTube channel. So you can go there, as well as the recipes. You all have a good and blessed night. And hopefully I will see you guys next week. And invite someone. If you know someone that's really struggling, please invite them. I think this will be very informative for them, and sometimes for us to share as well. I don't want
Thank
this
you.
always to be about lecturing.
Amen.
All
Thank you,
right.
Sister Jackie.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
All right. Thank
You're
you, Sister
welcome.
Jackie.
Thank
All
you
right.
much. Thank
All
you.
righty.
Good
Have a
night.
good evening. Good night.
Good night. Good night.